What's up, Greg? I hope you're all having a great day. Welcome back to my channel, and I'd just like to say, Merry Cringemas. Well, guys, it's that time of year again. My lips are chapped, my bones are cold, and it's dark out all the fucking time, which means it's Christmas time. So I'm a pretty big Christmas movie guy. I like It's a Wonderful Life. I watch that every year with my family. Home Alone, those movies are great. But today I'd like to talk about what may possibly be the worst Christmas movie ever made. The Santa Claus, featuring Tim Allen. It may also actually be the best Christmas movie ever made, but I haven't decided yet. The Santa Claus came out in 1994, and since then it's become a bit of a classic. A lot of you may have seen it. I remember really liking it when I was a kid. But if you're like me, and you haven't seen it since you were really, really young, and you just have those fond memories of it, if you were to watch it today, you would probably be like, what the fuck is this movie? Because when you're a kid, you don't really notice things like giant glaring plot holes, the movie condoning murder, kidnapping, all this shit that this movie has in it, which makes it pretty fucked up. And sure, other Christmas movies have weird elements too, like Home Alone is basically just about two guys trying to murder a child. But the Santa Claus is weird through and through. It's sort of an origin story for Santa, and it basically tries to establish this entire universe around Santa Claus and where he comes from, and none of it makes any fucking sense. So I know on this channel I usually talk about things like weird, cringy YouTube videos or shitty Instagram comedians. But today I want to take a bit of a step back and focus on something else. The Santa Claus featuring Tim Allen. Also, stick around to the end of this video for a very special Christmas music video. So this movie starts out by establishing the main character, Scott Calvin. He's an executive at like a toy company.
Here at B&R Toys, we're not just about making a profit in quality toys. We're also about families. But our families aren't here with us right now. This is probably why Johnson's secretary's sitting in his lap.
Johnson's secretary's sitting in his lap. He's cheating on his wife. Scott Calvin is divorced. He had a son with this girl, Laura, and his kid, Charlie, now lives with Laura and her new husband, Neil.
Oh, sorry, I'm late. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, do you want to come in for a minute?
Neil's waiting in the car, so.
Why doesn't he come in?
Because Daddy says you'll just end up saying something snotty.
Not necessarily. Could be rude or sarcastic. Whatever it takes.
See? I gotta go.
Come
Here.
on.
Ugh, Neil. I hate Neil. Neil sucks. I feel like most movies that start out like this, where it's like this split up family and the main character has been divorced, it seems like it tries to sort of make you feel bad for them at first. Like, oh man, he didn't deserve for his wife to leave him and marry some other man. And now they're all turned against him. Even the kid thinks he's kind of an asshole. But in this one, they're just like, no, yeah, he actually is an asshole. He deserved it. His wife honestly should have left him for someone else. She can do a whole lot better than Scott Calvin. She needs Neil. Fucking Neil. I hate Neil. Neil sucks. So Laura and Neil come over to drop Charlie off at Scott's house because Charlie's going to be spending Christmas with Scott.
Do I gotta stay?
You and your daddy are gonna have a great Christmas, okay?
Will you pick me up tomorrow?
Of course.
Early?
Yes.
The beginning of this movie does not present Scott in a very flattering light. It's just really hammering home the point of Scott not being a good dude. Like, even his own son is like, Mom, get me out of here! This old dude is a bummer and a half, man. I gotta go. I cannot spend Christmas with him. He makes me too sad. I'd rather spend it with Neil. And then it's time for bed on Christmas Eve night. And this is where our magical little adventure really begins. Charlie wakes up in the middle of the night because he hears a bumping sound. He hears like a bump, and then some like yelling and sleigh bells. And so he gets up to go tell his dad. And at first his dad's like, fuck off, I'm trying to sleep. But then he hears it too.
Somebody's on the roof.
So Scott runs outside and you'll never guess who's there.
Hey, you! What's that? Whoa, whoa!
It's Santa! Wow. How fun. So if you've never seen this movie before, you're probably wondering, is Santa dead? We'll get to that in a second. But first I want to talk about a big plot hole here. Santa's been doing this for a long time, right? He's like an ageless, mythical being who goes from house to house every Christmas, sneakily puts presents under the tree, never been caught, right? Nobody has concrete evidence that Santa's real. In fact, most people, it seems like in this universe, don't believe Santa's real. But he makes so much noise. How does he manage to not get caught when he's constantly making loud ass noises on the roof? Stomping around and yelling. Why was he yelling? And at who? Who was he yelling at? His reindeer? They don't speak English. Okay, anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, you wanted to know if Santa's dead. He is. He just slides right off the roof and fucking dies. And that's the beginning of this movie. Santa dies. So it's a great movie for kids. I like how when he slides off the roof, the snow sort of like bunches up and folds over, and you can totally tell it's just a blanket. I mean, you gotta love the 90s, man. The set decoration is so clearly fake. But to be fair, these days, the whole thing would have probably just been CG. This whole sequence, him falling off the roof. I mean, if this movie was made today, the whole thing would probably be CG. And Tim Allen would probably be a minion. And Santa Claus would probably be a minion. And Zendaya would probably be Michi. Now, I know you're probably thinking, uh-oh, Santa's laying in the front yard with like a broken spine, and he's dead. I really hope Charlie doesn't see this, because this is, you know, traumatizing shit for a kid, right? But he comes out and he sees him, and he's stoked.
You got him!
He's so happy. He's like, yes, Dad, you got him! You killed that bitch! So he searches his suit, and he finds this card, and it's like, if something happens to me, put on my suit, the reindeer will know what to do. And then he's like, reindeer? What reindeer? So he backs up. Wait, hold on. What? Oh no. Santa's still alive. That's even more fucked up. And why haven't they called 911? He didn't die on impact. He's just laying there with a broken spine, and nobody's doing anything about it. There's still time to save this poor man. I mean, this is really classic Christmas shit right here. I mean, this is what the holiday season is all about, you know? The smell of sugar cookies and beautiful lights lighting up the entire neighborhood, and a dying old man laying in the snow in your front yard. Okay, so anyway, they're confused about the card saying reindeer, so now they've gone to look at the roof. I wonder what it's gonna be. Come on, I'm so excited. What is it? What is it? Why is it taking so long? Why haven't they called 911 yet? Oh! Reindeer! How did he not notice the reindeer before? Santa was literally standing right next to them, and he didn't see that. He didn't see 12 big-ass reindeer pulling a gigantic sleigh. Okay, maybe he was a bit preoccupied. He might have been a bit focused on the man plummeting to his death, but I mean, come on.
Dad! He disappeared. Whoa!
He's naked somewhere.
And just like that, Santa's gone. I guess this is just part of like the Santa lore that this movie's trying to establish. When Santa dies, he disappears because he's a Jedi. So they go up and they see the reindeer. You know, in most movies, reindeer are depicted as these very cute, pure, innocent animals. They help Santa fly from city to city. For some reason in this movie, they made them these vile, sick beasts that just fart and burp. They get up there and Charlie convinces Scott to sort of take on the role of Santa Claus. When he puts on the suit, the reindeer all of a sudden just start listening to him. So the reindeer take him to the next house and he just is Santa now. He spends the rest of the night delivering presents with the coolest animations and the sickest special effects. And that's the basic setup of this entire movie. That's what this movie's about. This idea that this dude, Scott Calvin, just this random guy, accidentally killed Santa, put on his clothes, and then he just is Santa now. What kind of system is that? This movie is so weird. If you just kill Santa, you just get to be Santa. What other occupation has that system? I mean, what, can you just walk into a hospital and kill a doctor and put on his clothes and now you're a doctor? No, you can't. I've tried. I guess like the king of an 18th century monarchy would have the same rules. Like if you kill him, then I guess you're in charge now, but I don't know, it just seems like such an outdated system. So after a long, successful night of delivering Christmas presents, the reindeer take Scott and Charlie back to the North Pole, where this kid has been just waiting outside in sub-zero temperatures to let them in. And this is a beautiful sight. This is when we get to see Santa's toy factory for the first time. The elves are all gathered around to see Santa, but oh no. These elves are all gonna be mortified when they realize that their Santa died, and now there's a new Santa. When they see Scott Calvin and not the actual Santa Claus, they're all gonna be so sad. I mean, this movie's about to take a dark turn for sure. Nope, these motherfuckers don't care at all. In fact, they're stoked to see this guy.
Kid, who's in charge here?
You are. And I'm not a kid. I have pointy shoes that are older than you.
Who gives the orders? Who's your boss?
You are.
No. Who's the head elf?
You are.
And they all just accept that he's Santa now. Immediately just like, well, fuck the old Santa Claus, you're Santa now, dude. Why are they so thrilled to get a new Santa Claus? That's not good. And this dude could be like evil or a huge creep or something, and they've just given him the power of being able to fly around the world at light speed and have access to everybody on Earth's house. Actually, that might explain why they're so happy the old Santa was gone. Maybe he was like a huge asshole or like a creep and kept making passes at the elves or something. I don't know. It definitely doesn't reflect well on the old Santa Claus if all the elves are just cool with him being dead now. So he walks around and starts asking elves questions, and they all just like brush him off. They're like, dude, I don't have time to answer your questions. You're Santa, all right? Just bye.
Who are you?
I'm Bernard. Nice to meet you, Santa.
I'm not Santa. I've had a rough night. There's been dogs barking, guns going off. Look, my back's killing me. Have you ever tried to shove a sea kayak down a chimney? I'm tired of this small talk.
The other Santa disappeared, right?
Like this dude Bernard, who seems to be in charge, or at the very least like Santa's secondhand man, he's just like, you're Santa. And then he walks away. And every time Scott asks him a question, he's just like, dude, you're Santa, okay? Bye. Like, at least explain like what the job entails or anything. Like, that's all Scott wants to know is just like, what's going on? Why does he keep just walking away? But he does give Charlie a snow globe, which Charlie is very happy about.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Probably too happy, actually.
Thanks a lot. I promise I'll take real good care of it.
Yeah, dude, it's just a snow globe. You don't have to be so creepy about it. But once Bernard decides to stop acting like an evasive little weasel, he finally tells Scott what's going on. The card that Scott picked up has tiny little fine print on it that's a legal contract that says if you pick up Santa's suit and you put it on, you're Santa now. And it's legally binding, and it's called the Santa Claus. So Bernard explains all this to him, and then he walks away again. There's all these weird parts in this movie. So they take Santa back to his room where he gets to sleep. It's like the Santa suite or whatever at the North Pole. And this elf Judy brings him some hot cocoa. Now, these elves all look like kids, but I guess they're all like hundreds of years old. But Scott hasn't really learned that yet. I mean, he just sort of got here. So what he says next is kind of creepy.
I brought you some cocoa.
Oh, thanks.
My own recipe. Took me 1,200 years to get it right.
1,200 years.
That's right.
You know, I must say, you look pretty good for your age.
Wow, what a creepy thing to say to someone that you assume is probably a child. She definitely looks like one. Gross, Scott. So Scott falls asleep in the Santa suite with Charlie right by his side. It was a great Christmas, and he wakes up the next morning back at his own house with no recollection of how he got home. And the whole thing that happened to him last night kind of feels like a dream, but spoiler alert, it wasn't. But they don't ever explain how he got back to his house, so that's kind of weird. Did they drug him or what? So Laura comes back over to pick up Charlie, and you better believe she's gonna have some questions about what happened last night, but don't worry, Scott keeps us cool.
Nice PJs, very festive. Where'd you get them?
I don't know.
Nice job, Scott.
Dad and me went with the flying reindeer. It was really neat, Mom. Dad was Santa, and Larry showed me the workshop. You know where they make all the toys?
Gee, thanks for keeping his feet on the ground.
So this is the real conflict of the movie now. Charlie starts telling Laura and Neil that Scott is Santa Claus and he took him to the North Pole last night. And they had this whole great time and they met all these elves, and obviously Neil and Laura, because they don't believe in Santa Claus, are like, oh, he's insane. So from here on out, Laura and Neil try to keep Charlie as far away from Scott as they possibly can because, you know, from their perspective, he's insane.
I think Charlie is conflicted at the moment.
Boy, you got more important things to worry about, you know? Like where are you gonna get more sweaters after the circus pulls out of town?
Haha, fuck Neil. And for some reason, Scott never tries to prove that he's Santa. Like, Santa's a magical being. He's Santa now. He could probably, you know, summon the sleigh or something to show them that he's Santa, but he just doesn't. He's just cool with, like, never seeing his kid and losing his entire family. He just lets them think he's crazy to the point where they take him to court and he loses all custody and visitation rights for Charlie. Yeah, this movie's kind of dark. I just feel like Scott could have at least tried to convince them that he's Santa and tried to convince them he's not crazy. I mean, over the course of a couple weeks, he does like gain a shit ton of weight and all of his hair turns white and he grows a beard. Like, he literally changed more than most people do in like 20 years in a couple weeks. And he didn't try to be like, hey, look, like something weird's going on, obviously. So maybe don't take away my kid. During this part, we also find out a little bit of backstory about Neil and Laura and why they both decided to stop believing in Santa Claus. And we find out that they've got some like serious Santa Claus baggage. Like, they both get really emotional talking about it.
Oh, come on, Laura. Don't you remember when you stopped believing in Santa Claus?
I was Charlie's age. I wrote Santa a letter every week that year. Boy, I really wanted a mystery date came. Christmas morning came and... oh, I got dozens of presents. Oh, I got everything. Except mystery date.
I was 3. And it was an Oscar Mayer weenie whistle.
What adult grows up with that much emotional baggage about one Christmas gift or about Santa? That's so weird. But this all brings up a very good point. Why don't they believe in Santa? I mean, it made sense before because we didn't know that Santa was real yet, but now, halfway into the movie, we know that Santa's real. So how could you not believe in him? I mean, they have a kid, they have Charlie. Aren't they freaked out every year when gifts show up that they didn't buy for him? And these questions just aren't answered in this movie. It's just this giant plot hole that they never explain. Well, how do they not believe in Santa? Charlie clearly gets gifts labeled Santa, and neither of them bought them. But they're just like, well, I don't know. We must all just have amnesia. I guess I did buy that present and I just labeled it Santa. This whole part of the movie all occurs over the course of a year. So by the time it's the end of the movie, it's Christmas time again. Scott's getting all sad and shit. So he goes over to visit Charlie, which he's not supposed to do.
Could you guys leave us alone for a minute?
And then he has to be alone with Charlie, which he's not supposed to do. And then he kidnaps Charlie, which he's not supposed to do. So it's Christmas time. Santa gets all suited up. He's ready for action. There's this weird little dancing cutscene that they don't acknowledge and doesn't really make sense in the context of this movie, but then he hops in a sleigh and he's off to deliver presents. And then Santa gets arrested for, kidnapping someone.
So let's make this simple. I say name, you say Scott Calvin. Name,
Chris Kringle.
name.
Santa Claus.
So they put Scott in jail. He's totally not cooperating. But luckily at the North Pole, they have this elite secret agent elf squad that is trained to come and save Santa when he gets in situations like being in jail. Why do they need this? This is something that shouldn't happen often. It seems weird that they would even be prepared for this. Unless I was right about the old Santa being a fucking weirdo. So the elf squad shows up, they pick up Charlie. The elf squad is led by this kid who...
Don't worry, we're the good guys.
Really rubs me the wrong way for some reason.
We're the good guys.
Why does he talk like that? Ew. I swear this kid talks like he's like a TikTok star or something. He's like trying to be cute for his 12-year-old fans. Don't worry. We're the good guys. Oh, dude.
The police are watching this place.
Yeah, they probably are. But you see, we weren't figuring on walking out the front door. We find that we can get around a lot faster if we fly.
I don't like this kid at all, not one bit. This kid makes my stomach churn. Why did he even say it like that? Why didn't he just say, we're not gonna walk, we're gonna fly? He had to be all extra about it. We find that we get around a lot faster by flying. So anyway, they break Santa out of jail. And now Santa has been broken out of prison. He did kidnap Charlie. I mean, the movie totally glosses over that. Like, he legally kidnapped someone. He didn't have a right to take Charlie. He could have gone and delivered presents without Charlie. And he did kidnap him. So, is the movie just gonna pretend like that's cool?
Mom! Neil! I'm home!
Charlie.
Charlie.
Oh my God, Charlie. Sweetheart.
I think it's a much better idea that you stay here with your mom and Neil. Laura, what do you think? Christmas Eve, I spend with Charlie?
God. It's you. It really is you. You really are Santa Claus.
So this is sort of the resolution of the movie. Scott returns Charlie home. Laura comes in and just like by seeing Scott, she realizes that he's Santa. That's what does it. Just her seeing him. This dude Scott never has to even try to convince her. He just shows up in a costume and she's like, oh, holy shit. You are Santa. You are the legendary magical being Santa Claus. I'm convinced of it now, seeing you in this costume. So that's kind of the end of the movie. Scott escapes the police. He's free to go deliver the rest of the presents. He is just Santa forever. Until, I guess, someone else kills him. And then he disappears and someone else becomes Santa. Say what you want, but The Santa Claus is a Christmas classic. People love this movie. It's been around for over 20 years now and it's still going strong. I mean, I found this DVD at Target for $10. So If that doesn't say classic, then what does? And you know what I think is a little bit fucked up is that this movie doesn't have a song, because The Grinch has a song and that's a classic Christmas movie. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer has a Christmas song and that's a classic Christmas movie. But the Santa Claus gets no love. Why does the Santa Claus get no love? Nobody sings about this movie. I think that if we're gonna make the Santa Claus a bigger part of this holiday season and we're gonna keep it around as a Christmas classic, then there needs to be a Santa Claus song. So I made one. Every Christmas I'm a very good boy. I put out milk and cookies for this guy to enjoy. But Santa never brings the right toy. I felt like giving up on all this holiday joy. But if you've seen the Santa Claus, you know you become Santa if you put on Santa's coat. You can kill him, leave him dead up in the snow. The elves don't even care about you murdering their bro. And so, this Christmas gonna be special to me. I ain't gonna ask for a car with a key. I ain't gonna write to Santa asking him please, 'cause what I want for Christmas can't fit under the tree. I wanna be Santa Claus, so I'm gonna kill Santa Claus. When I hear those reindeer paws, I'm gonna break the law. This Christmas, don't got a wish list, I got a hit list, and at the top of it is Old Saint Nicholas. Nothing against him, it's just business. I ain't the Grinch, but I'm gonna steal Christmas. I made a list and checked it twice for all the fucks I give about ending Santa's life, and I found none. I'll travel at the speed of light. If I'm Santa now, does that mean that I sleep with Santa's wife? 'Cause I'm down, son. Fire in my fireplace. Not talking about his flying ship when I say I'm a sleigh. He gon' die, son. I'ma wake up Christmas Day with all the dopest presents that I forced the elves to make. They're my prisoners. I'll never understand why this is the way that they decide who the next Santa Claus is. How do people not believe that Santa exists? In this world, aren't adults concerned about all these gifts they didn't buy? I wanna be Santa Claus, so I'm gonna kill Santa Claus. When I hear those reindeer paws, I'm gonna break the law. This Christmas, don't got a wish list, I got a hit list, and at the top of it is Old Saint Nicholas. Nothing against him, it's just business. I ain't the Grinch, but I'm gonna steal Christmas. Alright guys, well thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. By the way, if you want to get this cool Nutcracker Christmas sweater, go on over to DannyGonzalez.store to cop yourself some. There's also a bunch of other new merch. If you like this video and you're new here, make sure you subscribe and turn on my notifications to join Greg. Greg is the strongest, fastest growing army on the internet. We'll probably be passing T-Series pretty soon, actually. So that's pretty cool. Alright, thank you Ariana for turning on my notifications. You are truly Greg. I'll see you guys next time with a really interesting video where I discover that I've been dead this whole time.